Now, before I close this module, I want to leave you with one more very important concept. And it's one that I know you can relate to in your life. And let me just explain something to you up front here. There are only two paths in life for a person to take. There's the path of reasons, and I call these reason people. These are people who have all the reasons about why they can't get what they want in life, why they can't hit their sales quota, why the leads suck, why everything is wrong. It's reason people. That's one path, the path of reasons. And the second path, which is the path of results. And these are people who find a way no matter what. You have reason people who are literally disempowered, right? And results people who live these empowered, fruitful lives at the highest level. They burn bright. These are the leaders, the movers and shakers of society. You know, I have a story. I call them ducks and eagles. And I look at these ducks as sort of these low-level reason people that kind of spend their whole life, you know, quack, 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 quacking around, and it's like smelly duck pond filled with duck, excuse my expression here, but these ducks live life at the lowest level. And then you have eagles, who are the people that actually find a way. They soar. You have ducks and you have eagles. Now, the hardest thing in the world to do is to turn a duck into an eagle. That's a very, very difficult thing to do. And again, I've done it in the past. It's very hard. It takes like massive work with beliefs and values and all that sort of stuff. But here's the beauty. If you're taking this course right now, as you are, you can't possibly be a duck, because ducks never sign up for courses like this. They will like be, oh my God, no, improvement, no. Why? Because it goes against their reason. See, they have a reason why they're not succeeding. It has nothing to do with them not knowing something. It's everyone else's fault. They're blaming, they're justifying, they're complaining. You get it? Reasons versus results, ducks versus eagles. And again, I want you to nail this ducks-eagles concept into your psychology here, because if you ever see yourself in the moment taking on any duck-like mentalities, which starts with this impossibility notion of what can't be done, you've got to change it immediately. You've got to snap out of it. I mean, there are ducks everywhere, and I despise them. You can sniff them out a mile away because they spend 90% of their day wallowing around in this giant duck pond filled with all the other smelly ducks quack, quack, quacking away with that reason after reason after reason of why they can't get what they want in life, why they can't get things done. That's what they spend their lives doing, and you can't influence when you're a duck. Eagles are the ones who influence. Eagles find a way. And just so you know, as I said before, the most difficult thing in the world to do is to turn a duck into an eagle, which is an ancillary benefit, by the way, of you taking that behavioral test in the beginning of this training. It's able to weed out any of the ducks that might have slipped through the cracks here, right? Disguising themselves as eagles, you know, as a sort of business, trying to hide your webbed feet and your ridiculous bill from a true eagle. Anyway, the truth is, I don't need to look at that test to know that you're not a duck. You wouldn't be here right now if you were. You'd have run the other way, or actually waddled the other way, once you realized the straight line was the real deal and could make you rich. Why? Because it's anathema to a duck. So we'll quack, quack out 1,000 different reasons why it won't work for him. And again, that's the story here. You notice the ducks around you. They're everywhere. I run into them personally all the time, all over the world. Here's an example of a typical duck encounter. Big Bear Mountain, July 4th, it's a mountain in California. We go skiing, right? It's a big holiday weekend in the United States. It's not the nicest place in the world, but it's, you know, a decent place, somewhat near where I live in Southern California. It's up in the mountains. Anyway, so I rented this very nice cabin in a nice resort up there in Big Bear, and I wanted to take my 2 kids and rent jet skis. And I go down to the front lobby to rent these jet skis, and you can see them outside. They're right there, these 4 jet skis. They're in the dock, right, through the window behind this lady at the counter, right? And it's about 12:20 in the afternoon. And I say to this woman behind the desk, she's a young girl, 20, 22 years old. I say, you know, excuse me, can I please rent those jet skis? And she says, oh, I'm sorry, they're rented. And I'm like, really? I'm like, but they're right there behind you. She says, oh, no, someone's already rented them. I said, for the entire hour? And she goes, yeah, they're rented for the whole hour. So I said, well, I guess they didn't show up here because it's like, you know, almost 12:30 now. So she says to me, no, they're already rented. I said, well, how about this? I said, I have no idea. Did they pay for the jet skis? And she goes, no, they haven't. I said, well, how about this? They didn't pay for the jet skis. Why don't you just let me pay for the whole hour? They're sitting right there, and me and my kids will stay right here where you can see us. We'll just do some circles around. And this way, if they come back, you can just give them the jet skis, and I'll pay for the whole hour anyway. And she goes, I'm sorry, they're rented. I'm like, well, she goes, it's the rules. I'm like, oh, no. Quack, quack, the duck, right? Rules. The rules all year from duck people's, this impossibility notion. So I say to her what you've probably said to other people in the situation. I said, let me speak to somebody else. And she replies, I'm sorry, sir. They're going to tell you the same thing as me. I said, no. Find me somebody else who doesn't think it can't be done. So just find me someone who believes a possibility. So she's like, oh, fine. And she's like, hold on. And she starts walking behind these double doors. And I say, stop. Don't move. And she's like, what? I said, don't go behind those double doors. And she says, why not? I said, there's a duck pond back there. More ducks. I said, go upstairs and find me an eagle. She looked at me like I was crazy. Anyway, the hotel manager came down from upstairs, and sure enough, boom, I got my jet skis in 2 minutes flat because she was an eagle. And this is how the inner game melds with the outer game. See, if you see yourself going into that duck-like mentality ever, especially if you're in front of a prospect, you gotta break out of it. You know, understand this. I know there are no ducks in this training program. You're not a duck, I get that. But what happens is very often as eagles, through the trials and tribulations of lives, we get our wings clipped. Some bad stuff happens, some mistakes, either our own fault sometimes or no fault of our own. Some things happen, bam, you get your wings clipped and you start developing this impossibility notion. You start focusing on the reasons of why you can't get ahead in life, you can't get what you want, and your wings are clipped and all of a sudden you start acting like a duck. You're still an eagle. The bottom line is this. From this module, your path starts here to being the highest, the best eagle you could possibly be. Your brain is constantly weighing these options and choosing a path to you every second of the day. And if you're not moving towards your goal, it's because your standards are not aligned with your actual vision. It's creating some disconnect. You've got to get out of your comfort zone to really succeed in life and to take your sales, your income, and all the areas of your life that are important to you to take them to the next level. You can't let yourself be comfortable with where you are right now and settle for a life that's anything less than you're fully capable of living. And I put this module in this program because I can teach you all the straight line strategies in the world. I can give you every nuance of how to close the sale and take someone down the straight line and literally close anyone who's closable. But if you don't have the inner game stuff, those inner game elements lined up, if you don't have your standards at the highest level to match your vision and that determination, your why to see things through, you're simply not going to follow through for the long term.